We got it now.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, great. Now we're ready to rock and roll. All right, my name is Dr. Dee Pfister. I am the Associate Vice President of Academic Professional Development, Online Learning and Academic Technology, and Transfer and Articulation here at Cuyahoga Community College. And with me today is Jen McCall. And Jen, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Jennifer McCall. I work at the Corporate College Division of Tri-C, and I serve our external clients for corporate trainings.
Excellent. All right, well, today we are going to talk to you about networking with purpose, with passion, and personality. So if you want to advance to that next slide, we'll just kind of showcase a bit of our agenda. All right, so we're going to talk about networking with purpose, passion, and personality. We'll do some introductions and speed networking at the tail end. What we're going to do is do a real quick 20-minute presentation on networking and then really jump in and get to know one another personally. I know many times when I attend conferences, especially virtually, I walk away saying, who did I meet and how can I help them? And a lot of times in the virtual world, it's a lot of listening and not being able to interact. So this session, I promise you, will be interactive. You will be meeting people. We're going to have speed networking sessions. But before we get into that, we want to give you a little background on networking. So next slide, please. All right, so let's start with a basic definition. What is networking? Networking is the exchange of information or services among individuals, groups, or institutions. That's from Webster Dictionary. Also, they say the cultivation of productive relationships for employment or business. So it's cultivation is like growing a garden. There's a lot of work involved and a lot of nurturing needed for networking. Also, networking is a systematic process of building and maintaining alliances. So we'll jump to that next slide. So a little bit of importance about networking. There's two major importances of networking. One, career advancement. So as you can see from the screen, some of the statistics show the overwhelming importance of networking in relation to career advancement. According to HubSpot, 85% of jobs are filled through networking. 70% of jobs are never published publicly. That's from CNBC. 70% of professionals hired had a connection at their company, and that's through LinkedIn. And then 80% of professionals consider networking vital to their career success. An example is my daughter. She graduated from Miami University last year, about a year and a half ago in the height of COVID, and was not certain how she was going to find a job. She had put out probably 100 resumes, applications, wasn't really hearing much because I think it was just the time, and the time she graduated, she was a star student. And I said to myself, Dee Dee, come on, you've got to tap into your own network to help your own girl. So I did. And I reached out to some people that I used to work with in the past in my advertising career prior to my higher ed career and said, hey, if anybody knows of anybody. Well, one thing led to another. Brianna connected with an individual who knew somebody else and landed the job. I set up the network for her. She did the rest. She interviewed. She got the job. I can tell you, if I had more time, I'd sit here and tell you all the stories about how important networking is to get your career advanced, to get a job, to meet other people, to develop business relationships. It is extremely important. So we'll jump to the next slide about the second importance of networking, which is business relationships. Not only can you advance your career by networking, but networking is one of the most important ways to find and keep customers and build trust and loyalty. Now that we're moving back into some face-to-face meetings, it's really important to continue to try to find opportunities to meet face-to-face. The close rate for in-person meetings is 40% higher than phone meetings or virtual meetings. Executives state that they would lose 28% of their business if they stopped networking. 35% of our participants in the LinkedIn study said that LinkedIn helped them establish a new business or partnership. It is incredibly important when you meet people to remember who they are and remember what you can do for them. So that brings me to the next slide here. Networking with purpose. And one thing that may sound like I'm flipping the script here, networking is not about you. Not about you at all. I'm a woman of faith, and one of my guiding biblical verses is from Philippians. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility and count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others. So when I am networking, I get really excited because I'm like, oh, what can I help this person with? How can I make an impact on what they do? People may not necessarily remember you for, hey, I'm Dee Dee, and this is what I do, and this is my career. But, hey, I'm Dee Dee, and she asked me how she could help me. I can't tell you how many times people, oh my gosh, you're the person who helped me with this. I used to teach a lot of public speaking. I'd have students come back to me and say, Dee Dee, can you help me prepare for an interview? Can you help me with my communication skills? I'm going to be giving a big speech. I couldn't wait. That's what makes me tick. So when you're networking, don't think about, oh, what I'm going to get out of this. Think about, how can I help the person who's standing right in front of me now or in the future? And how can my business or my personal connections help this person or this person's organization succeed? What you need to do is tune into your contact's interests. Ask more questions than giving more answers when you're networking. Ask people about themselves. It's amazing one thing will lead to another in a conversation when you start asking really great questions. How can your skills and connections help this person right now? What you need to do is create and practice your elevator speech to perfection. Not about how great you are, but how great what you can offer can help them. And then following up immediately. Follow up is key. It's great that you had a wonderful conversation or an interaction, but if you don't follow up, it's like you forgot to water that garden. You need to keep watering the garden. And then make an effort to become a sustainable connection. I've had many connections where I tell them about resources that Tri-C has, and I follow up. For example, our basic computer literacy course that we offer here, that we created in-house at Tri-C, I have pushed out to community organizations, and they're so thankful. We had a conversation when we were building it. I said, when it's ready, I'm sending it to you. And we're really thrilled that we were able to connect in that way. But remember, it's not about you. It's about how you can help the other person in front of you. All right, next slide. All right, networking with passion. Passion is your ability to be self-aware and build your confidence in yourself. Networking with passion makes a huge difference in developing your own personal brand. Passion for your business or for your work is just as important as passion in the relationship that you're cultivating. It keeps things exciting and keeps people wanting more. People can see your passion and they respond positively, whether they're employees, clients. So give your attention. When you're with someone, give your full attention. Take your phone, put it down. Take your eyes and put them on them. Share. Be vulnerable. Today we had so many people, including our trailblazers, folks who spoke about money, balancing work-life balance, relationships. You really need to share and be vulnerable and be real. Glossing over who you are and saying everything's okay, and that's not the way to share. Sharing is being vulnerable, so then people can be vulnerable with you, and then maybe you can find a place where you can help them. Groom or broom. Maybe thinking about the way we dress communicates passion, whether you're on camera or you're in person. The way we dress is very important. That exhibits passion when you're kind of dressed for the occasion. Um, Passion in internal networking. If you're interested in other people, they will pay it back with their devotion to you and to your work. And then harness your passion as a networking strategy. So those are just some quick tips about networking with purpose and passion. And I am going to hand the baton to my buddy Jen, who has been so fabulous to work with during this summit, to talk a little bit more about networking with personality. She's got some great tips for you. I think you might be on mute, Jen.
Thank you, Dee Dee. I caught the baton.
Yay.
Now we've learned about networking with purpose. We also want to take some time to think about how we can incorporate our personality into networking. As Dee Dee mentioned, it's important that you bring your whole self, your most authentic self, and those experiences you've had to your LinkedIn profile. So if everyone can let me know in the chat by noting a number one, how many of you have LinkedIn profiles or a LinkedIn account? And also, next to that one, I want you to tell me, when is the last time you updated it? Was it in the last 60 days, 90 days, within the last year, or prior to COVID? So lots has happened over the years. And one of the primary ways we've been connecting while being at home, working from home, we've been connecting and finding our community via LinkedIn. So I see lots of people have a LinkedIn profile. Wonderful. If you don't have one, you'll have opportunity to connect with me at another time, and I can help you in walking through setting that up. I don't mind doing that at all, but you should have a virtual presence where you are communicating how you help, what you do, and who you are, and incorporating your personality into your LinkedIn profile. Now I'll tell you this. This is why it's important. It's your digital footprint for your career, for your interests, and it also demonstrates all the things you've accomplished in your professional career. It demonstrates how you've impacted your community. It demonstrates who your connections are within your community as well. It is really the first impression the viewers have of you online. And it's a great space to highlight your specialties, your skills, and your expertise, okay, without having to do it in person. So there are three key areas you need to focus on. And that first is your LinkedIn contact card. That's the top piece of real estate on your LinkedIn profile. It's the first thing folks see. And in this area, you should help them know at a glance what you do, how you help, and who you are. And we'll go into that. Next slide. Okay, so adding your personality. Where can you add your personality? There are four key areas where you can add your personality to your LinkedIn profile. And that is your profile image, that is your cover image, that's your headline, and that is your summary. So your profile image, a lot of people think that you have to go and get a professional headshot for a LinkedIn profile photo. Although that's encouraged, because sometimes people can get better angles of you than you can with a selfie, it's encouraged that you simply be yourself. Be yourself. Look natural. Look approachable. And as the best way you can really present yourself is by using a high resolution image. So maybe have a friend or a colleague take a photo of you, maybe in a normal setting for you, that being your office or even outside since things are warming up. And you want to put that photo against a neutral background. So if you have a great photo of yourself and you're not such a fan of the background, you can easily change or take out that background by using Canva. So I'll put that in the chat too at the end of these slides. Another thing you don't want to miss on your LinkedIn contact card is your cover image. I call this your self-advertising billboard. This is your space to talk about who you are, what you're about, provide a highlight of your products, services, or offerings. That's how you help. It's also a great place to engage your viewers or the people that visit your profile. You can simply note a question for them to answer. And that's a really quick way for them to identify a way to engage with you. Another item you want to pay really close attention to, and honestly, I think this is the most important area on your LinkedIn contact card, and that's your headline. It's 120 characters to really showcase what you do, how you help, and who you are. In this area, you'll want to include your current role or your status. So if you're a student, tell us that you're a student and what program you're studying and where you're studying in that program. If you're a professional, tell us what you do to help within your organization. It's also a great place to include an I help statement. This identifies specifically who you help and how you help them. And it also may be helpful for you to include some hashtags to make yourself more discoverable in search. What do you include in your hashtag? For me, since I work in learning and development with corporations, I include learning, development, soft skills, corporate training as my hashtags within my headline so that when folks search for people or opportunities with someone in my field, my profile will show up. Lastly, you want to include a summary. Now, in times past, people use the summary to pretty much talk about themselves, but in reality, this is an area where you can talk about the impact you've had for your audience and those you serve. You want to share your strengths, your motivations, your values, your intentions. And what's also really cool is in recent years, LinkedIn has created a space where you can actually share some of your successes. You can share projects you've worked on, you can show collaborations you've had, or you can shout out organizations that you're aligned with and believe in. One thing I do want to bring to your attention is that within the search results, it's very key that you refine your headline there. If you look to your right of your screen, you'll see we looked up Jenna Smith. And there's lots of Jenna Smiths out there in LinkedIn. But what stands out to me is Jenna Smith. She's the second person down, and it notes her I help statement. Instead of it just noting her title or the industry where she works in, it noted that she's a CEO that helps, she's a professional that helps CEOs innovate and scale their enterprises. You see the difference between just simply listing your title and your industry to including an I help statement? Let's take a look at a few other profiles that I thought were really impactful on LinkedIn. Let's talk about what Sarah and Claudia did to demonstrate what they do. Now, if you're a student in this space, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Sarah just simply noted that she was a marketing student. She noted her program, the university she's with, and in her cover image at the very top, she found a fun image on Canva and she noted what program she was in and also what internship she is currently a part of. As a student, you can really keep it simple, but you can use graphics to embellish your contact card, and you can also simply talk about the program you're in. As for Claudia, she talked about her transformation from being a molecular biologist to a mindset coach for entrepreneurs. And if you see there, she lists all of her offerings in her contact card. So she's a certified life coach. She has a podcast, and her focus is helping people with not being overwhelmed, eliminating doubt and fear, and tackling busy work. Let's take a look at a few I help statements. I really like Alexis's I help statement because it really goes direct to her audience, as in she wants to help ladies go from feeling overwhelmed with accounting and taxes for their businesses to feeling empowered. It's just that simple. It can be one sentence to identify who you help. And Daniela, she talked about how she helps early female entrepreneurs gain the clarity that they need to get their first 5 clients. Taking time to refine your I help statement will help your audience learn if you can help them or not. And lastly, who you are. I think it's really important that you take the time to share something about yourself that may connect with your audience. For Aaliyah here, she talked about being a first-generation graduate student. She can connect with her audience for those who this is the first time your family has pursued, or someone in your family has pursued a graduate degree. Same for Sharon here. She shared at the very end of her headline that she's a dog mom. And so she can connect with her audience on that as well. I want to encourage you, sorry, Dee. I want to encourage you to use what you do, how you help, and who you are in your contact statement. And Dee and I have compiled a few examples for you to use going forward, and we'll include that document in the chat.
Right. Thank you so much, Jen. These vivid examples are so important because sometimes it's like, how do I even get started? So thank you. And like Jen said, we've compiled a full page of resources for you to utilize as you kind of go through looking at your own contact card. One thing we just wanted to kind of touch on is making sure you build your network in a virtual world by seeing the responses in the chat. Some of you have been more active than others. I can't tell you how important it is to be connected, to be on LinkedIn. That is really where it is professionally, to be connecting to other folks. I know recruiters that's how they start their morning, is by looking at LinkedIn and seeing who's out there. So the who, not the volume of connections, is more important. Identifying commonalities when you decide to send a request. Don't just send hey, you want to connect? Tell them why you want to connect. Those are the folks that I choose to accept when I have folks connecting with me. If they do not tell me why, I'm like, I'm not sure what I've got there in common. So, make sure you're intentional about who you're connecting with, leaning on your own network for making introductions, and then don't lose momentum. Have maybe a date with yourself saying, I'm going to do my LinkedIn hour with myself, and I'm going to freshen up my page. I'm going to look at my card. I'm going to check out some connections, joining groups. Those are all really important things to do. But without further ado, we'd like to give some space for our student who had worked on the committee with us, Banan. So Banan, you're an amazing individual. We'd love to hear a little bit from you and your story about how you built so many connections so quickly in the short time that you have been a Tri-C student and in this country. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. I agree about the importance of networking, and networking is what I need. I moved to United States with my kids and my husband before 2 years and a half. So we are an immigrant family, and I'm a student at Tri-C. My major is human resource management, and I working at Tri-C as a student ambassador. Also, I am a scholar at Mendel Scholarship Academy. Networking is important to me as an immigrant mother and as a student to get to know the new community that we are become a part of. And as a mom, my way of networking is by searching for volunteer opportunities in the city in which I live. Volunteering makes me meet new people, learn more about my surrounding, and understand the environment in which I live. And networking with my children's school by continuous volunteer there helps me to understand the education system here, meet with parents, and increase my knowledge about what happens around me. As a student, I network at the college Tri-C. I have great relationships with my professors. For example, I got a recommendation from one of my professors to become a scholar at Mandel Academy. And I networked with a friend at college who told me about a work-study job, and I contacted with the supervisor who manages a student work study job at Tri-C. Also, I network with the student service providers like counseling and career service apartment all the time. And I am networking with my mentor who supports me, helps me, and answer all my questions all the time. And my mentor, for example, helped me to update my resume to get a work study job. Networking with my mentor provides me with many opportunities that support my career. So networking is what I need to increase my knowledge, get involved to my new community, and achieve my goals, to practice my language since I'm learning English, and to open my eyes to new opportunities around me. So thank you all for listening to my story.
Thank you, Banan. And your English is beautiful and your
Thank you.
story is beautiful. We are so thrilled that we got a chance to work with you on this
Thank
team.
you.
You're an amazing individual, so thank you. So what we're going to do now, I know there was probably a lot of information and it's all packed in, but guess what? We've got a recording of this session. We will have a copy of our PowerPoint and we're sharing our resources, and Jen and myself make ourselves available to you. You can reach out to us anytime. I would love to get some new connections in my LinkedIn profile. If you are here today and you see that you want to connect with either one of us on our LinkedIn, we'd love to have some new connections. And just say, I met you at the Women's Summit. So please connect with us today while it's fresh in your mind. All right, well, what we're going to do next is speed networking virtually. This was one of the favorites from last year that we heard from a feedback on the Women's Summit. So we're doing a repeat performance so people can get to know one another. And so what we're going to ask you to do during this session, and we'll put it in the chat too, is to, first of all, share your name, your organization, hobbies, anything you want to, share, kind of general information. And in what ways do you love helping others? And after you're sharing, you're listening to the others, and you might even be taking notes. How can I help this person who's talking to me now in the future? How can my business or personal connections or my skills help this person succeed? All right. So these are the guiding questions. What we're going to do now is we're going to break everyone in this session, and I believe there's close to 50 folks, into groups of 3 to 5 people, so everyone gets a chance to talk and share. And so Andy, I don't know if you can jump on to direct folks about what they're going to see on the screen in order to get them to their breakout sessions.
Absolutely. Right now, Jessica is going to randomly assign everybody. And once you're in, you will have 8 minutes to converse. And then you'll see there's also going to be a 10-second countdown to let you know that when the session is ending, you'll get bumped back into the main room.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're going to be wrapping up with a little kind of closing. So don't go away after your breakout sessions. You have 3 breakout sessions. I think we're ready. And I'll stop recording.